Now, could you please speak about the role that persuasion plays in affecting policy changes and potentially political environment?
In order to change policy or do something new, those who want to do it have to persuade other people that aren't initially involved that this would be a good idea. And they do that by various appeals. Mostly what they have to do is make a case that what they want to do serves the public interest, that this would be a good thing for the community, for either it's a city or a state or the entire country. So they make an argument on the merits, but then they also talk about why it's in the interests of those they're trying to persuade. So they'll say to them, you ought to do this because there are various reasons why it would favor your own position in life. Perhaps you have constituents you worry about. You show how the policy you want to do is going to be good for that locality or for other interests that are of concern to the other people, and you try to get a coalition together. So it isn't enough to decide to do something yourself. You have to organize collective action where everyone gets on board, or enough people get on board so that you can do it. And then after you've decided the policy, you also have to persuade the administrators to get on board. Those who are going to carry out the policy are very important as well. They have to believe in it. So there's a lot of persuasion that goes on, even on the part of people who are sitting in senior positions like the president or a governor or a mayor.
In the article, when you mentioned about that policymakers should forecast the tension between policy argument and politics that policymakers would face if they express these proposals in office, what type of forecasting methods would you suggest they use?
Policy analysis is about forecasting. It's about deciding what your options are. If you have some problem, you need to solve an administrative problem or some more basic policy issue, you'll have different ways you might do that. And what you do in policy analysis basically is to find the problem. That's very important. And then you start off by setting out possible options for solving it. And then you forecast what will happen if I do those things, if I do option A versus B versus C. And you forecast for the policymaker what's likely to happen if we do A, B, or C. Mm-hmm. And then the policymaker will make a choice. Now, one factor in that analysis should be implementation and administration. You want to consider whether what you want to do can be administered, whether it can be carried out as you think, or whether there will be problems. And then, and this is the major shift that I want to make, you also should address the politics of the issue. You should say to a member, to a policymaker, well, if you do this, you'll get support from so-and-so, and you won't get opposition from other people, and you need to sell this to Congress or the legislature if it's a state or a city council, mm-hmm. and that's going to problem. So there's a trade-off, again, between what you might like to do on the merits and what you have to do to satisfy the accountability in the system. And all of that should be in the analysis so the policymaker knows that he's got some choices, but part of that choice is deciding what he's going to have to sell to the outside world.